Welcome back, guys and girls. So today, window regulators. The Dodge, I've posted previously where the Dodge driver's side window regulator went out, and I installed that one. Well, recently it broke, and in my opinion, that is a crappy design, and they only use that design on the quad cab Dakota Sports. If you have a two-door or a club cab, extended cab, they use that design with the actual gearing, the spring, the helper spring, and the lift arms. Why they did that differently, the only thing I can think of is to save weight. And that's because that is a bad design. So I ordered this one, and I ordered it from a company I have ordered from in the past, but I don't very often. And the reason was it came with electric motor. The ones from Rock Auto, majority of them don't have electric motor. So I ordered one of these, not this one, but I ordered one of these, and when it showed up, it was missing that helper spring. Called customer service. They said, okay, send it back, we'll send you a replacement. Took forever to get the first one. Took forever to get the second one. The day I sent back the first one, I got the second one, which is this one, and it was missing the spring. So I was a little bit hot, and I called them up, and customer service, of course, is overseas somewhere. And the guy said, yeah, well, you can send it back and I'll send you out a replacement. And I said, no, I'm done. I'm going to dispute it with PayPal because this is a hassle. It takes forever. You guys can't even just send me another one without us going through and I tell you exactly what it is I'm trying to order, even though you state you can only send me back an identical replacement for what I just ordered, and you got to make it complicated, so I'm done. And so he said, well, how about I refund your full purchase price plus shipping and you just keep it? I said, okay. Well, then they didn't refund me the full purchase price. They still wanted me to pay tax on the canceled transaction. So I had to dispute that with PayPal. And it all worked out. I got it back in the end. But long story short, you go to buy these, even if they show the spring in the photo, China is not sending out the springs. Now this one is a manual regulator. I ordered it from Rock Auto literally just to get that spring. And this is a Dorman brand, even though it says right on it, made in Taiwan. So just so you guys know, they aren't sending out those springs. Part of it is because they're kind of a pain in the butt to put on, and they're kind of dangerous. So that's that deal there. Anyway, so what we're going to try to do today is we're going to try to convert from that style to this style. And part of doing that is the mounts for your window glass are different, and I've got those. I need to go get them, and I'll show you the difference. So literally going to have to pull the window completely out of the door, change the mounts, and then we're going to have to try to Frankenstein that one into the existing door. All right, real quickly. So what fails on these, at least in my experience, is your cable runs down into that block. Now this is the side that pulls the window down. You can see this one's disconnected. This is the side that pulls the window up. And so what happens is those literally just go into a groove and they go into a little hole. And it snaps off the plastic. Well, as soon as that happens, the way this spool right here is made is it's real thin plastic, real cheap inside there. If you've ever used Teflon tape, the little spools that Teflon tape come on, basically that's it, except there's a center divider. And so it winds in on one half, it winds in while it winds out on the other half of the spool. And the motor just reverses, you know, to wind in this one and then wind out that one. Well, as soon as you get loose cable, it starts, you know, bird nesting. It's what we used to call it on fishing reels and winches and stuff. Yeah, the cable will bird nest. And when it does, it binds up and it just destroys that center divider. And then it's all knotted up and it won't work. And I guarantee you, if we take this apart, that's what we would see. Also, I had said I ordered this specific regulator from a different company because it came with a motor and the ones on Rock Auto didn't. Well, I noticed something, and I'm not positive about this, but if you look at this electric motor and then you look at that electric motor, it almost looks like if we were to take this plate and this spool attachment off, that this motor might possibly be the same as that motor. Haven't verified that. It just appears like it would work. So now that I know that, I possibly could have ordered one of these off of Rock Auto for less money, missing the motor. But, you know, that's something else to consider. All right, so I've already obviously ripped everything apart. I did not video that because I've already videoed that in the past. There's several videos showing you how to take this off and put it in with the old cable style because they break all the time. Now, I only found one video. It was a TRQ of how to put in the manual regulator. And I'm going to use that for reference on where this stuff needs to mount. Now, this door is made different. So I'm going to have to just try to make it work. And as I stated, the mounts for the window glass are different, so that glass has to come out. Quad cab style mount. These are the two-door extended cab style mounts. So that's the main difference that I've seen, except for the actual mounting holes and everything on the inside of the door. So this has to come off without breaking the glass. Those get glued on. Go see if I can get some solvent. We'll see if we can get that thing loose. All right, this is just regular lacquer thinner. This actually came off one time and I had to glue it back on, so hopefully it's not going to be too much trouble to get it loose. Probably wasn't a good idea to put that on top of my rubber mat, was it? Yeah. Try some on the other side. I honestly don't remember what I used to glue it back on there with. Put this on here to cushion the glass from any accidental blows. I stand in the right spot, that sun shines right back in my face off that glass. There she goes. All right, good deal. To attach these is 3M super weather strip adhesive. It dries fast, it holds well as long as everything is clean, and it stays semi-flexible, so I think that would be a good adhesive for this. All right, that looks pretty clean. All right, after consulting a couple of photos, it shows that these clips are toward the back, not centered. So good thing I decided to look at that. It looks like this one sits just about where this radius ends. Let's move everything that direction. Something about like that is what it appears to be. I'll consult the photos again just to make sure, and then they will get glued on. Time to get sticky. Make sure we don't get those mixed up. That would be bad. All right. Move it around a little bit. Make sure everything has good contact. I'm going to push, that's where that cutout is in the glass. I'm going to push more to this side and keep it straight in line. And then also, I'm going to put this bar back on there because it bolts down in where that relief is to help keep them straight while they cure. Just a hair up past the line that way. Just a hair past the line that way. All right, so now we'll push it up. Push it up good like that. Now, the other one had bolts. This one takes nuts. Knowing my luck, I don't have nuts, and I didn't even think about it. See if I can find some metric nuts, because I'm sure that's what they are, you know. That'll give that time to cure while I am digging out some stuff. Remember when I said the plastic anchor parts snap off of the cable winch style? Yeah, those were laying down in the door. Now one of them's probably from the previous regulator, but I'm sure the other one is from this one. So before I started digging through all of my junk to find some nuts, I realized these have nuts and I don't need those. So let's see if these nuts will fit on the window clips. That would be great if they did. So I noticed there are green dots. Those are the only holes that are threaded. So those two, these two, not those two. But I also found out the original bolts that took the 10mm socket screw in. So all I have to do is find a tap and go ahead and tap those two holes to this size, and I can just use the bolts that I already have. All right, it looks like that is an M6 by 1 thread. I found a tap that's been broken off and resharpened. So not the best situation here, but we're going to try to make it work. All right, after a lot of trial and error, different positions, everything, I decided the easiest way to figure out where to mount this would be run it all the way up and then measure the actual window glass, allow about 1/4 inch of engagement up in here, measure down to here, measure down to where the clips actually engage in the track. And so based on that, I determined that this is roughly where it needs to mount. Right in back in here is where the other mounts are. And so if this is the right position, I'd probably have to cut this out because that indentation is pushing it that way and it needs to be more flat up against this. All the way up seems fine. All the way down looks fine, but there's a problem. When you get to the midway point, if you can see down in there, this piece that mounts to the glass is past the guide. That is too far. Even this could be addressed because I have it bolted in right here. Even this could be addressed because I could bridge across here and bolt that in. But that is too far that way. That will not work there. Inside here, the electric motor is just right up against this. So, in theory, the electric motor is about that tall. So in theory, I could cut this out, let everything come this way, and then I could, you know, replate it, figure it out. So that's where I'm at right now with the electric one. Now, since I know this, I can now take this out. I can mark where everything is mounted. I can take this out, and I can take the manual one because the arm is bent a different direction on the manual one. And I could see just how much trouble it's going to be to get the manual in there. And I think that's what I'm going to try without doing any more cutting or anything. Somebody has already tried this, I think, because this hole, I did not put in there. They were there when I bought the truck. I did put this hole and that hole right there, just trying to adjust that. And so, yeah. And you have to allow for, when you're in your middle position, everything is pushed as far as it can that way, including this arm right here. So that needs to be in a position where there's enough travel to go that direction. Because what it does is it starts over here, and as it goes up, it goes like this, and then as it continues to go up, it comes back, and or the other direction actually. But anyway, when everything is straight across, it's as far over that way as it's going to travel. This one out, put the manual one in, and just see how I can make it work. Now that I've got a basic way to do it by measuring, and I know about where everything's supposed to sit inside, it won't take that long to try the manual one just to see what it looks like. I don't know how many of you caught it. I didn't until I went to install the glass. I actually put those clips on the wrong side. So when I got it, they were almost completely dry, and the bolts were pointing that way when they should have been pointing this way. I had to take them off, reglue them. So anyway, this is not really what I had intended on accomplishing today, but I need something that works. So you saw before I started out with the factory holes, this hole, and that hole, which I ended up drilling bigger at one point. Then I put this hole and that hole. Well, in just figuring and measuring and repositioning, I finally ended up with a hole there for your little guide. That's in the existing hole. It's just off to one side with washer on it. I ended up putting that hole, and obviously I put a hole for the handle. Now I still need another hole right in here, and there's one right in here. And I'm going to transfer the spring back over. It's fairly easy. I got to be careful because the glue is still not set, but it still works fairly easy. And I mean, it comes down well below the level. It goes up and it meets correctly on the way up. So that is perfectly functional. So I just need to get this out, transfer the spring. If I decide to leave it, I have to put a hole in the door panel and get me a handle. This was way less destructive. And if I had started with this, I wouldn't have these extra holes and stuff that I ended up doing. Okay, one more mistake before we finish the day out. So I was measuring, and I was measuring along this line right here and down from up here to figure out where to put the hole for the handle. I thought that was where this edge was, and actually it's where the rubber weather stripping seals. So obviously I was off. So the easiest way to do it was just lay it on here like I have it, line the screw holes up, and just tap it with a hammer, and then look at the back side. That's how I came up, and now it's almost perfect. So, you know, that needs to be a pretty big hole anyway. I'll probably go 3/4 on that. That one, yeah, you know, no big deal. I can fill it with something. All right, it is back in. The spring is installed. So the white bolts are where I ended up finally putting bolts to put that in. So take a good look if you want to try this. That is the approximate locations of everything. All right, well, to put the final touch on this, I came up with a old screw. It's a 1024, and it just so happens there's already a hole in this that was the right size to tap to a 1024. So I would have had to have made a huge hole in here for the clip, the retainer clip that they use on these handles normally. And the old 60s, maybe 70s cars always had a screw. It worked fine. So that's what I went with. All I have to do is clean the hole out a little bit and install the handle. All right, so there it is. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but it works fine.